Thank you for joining us for another episode of 843 TV. I'm your host, Annalisa Itcore. We have seen charter schools on the rise in the area, and Jasper County is getting in on the mix with the Polaris Tech, a fantastic new charter school that will be opening in August. We're welcoming 4 guests today to offer information. We have Jasper natives General Lloyd Newton, as well as Dr. William Singleton, who is the former Jasper County School District Superintendent. We also have Sandra Chavez and Kim Statler, who is part of the South Carolina Department of Commerce. So stick around for another episode of 843 TV, where communities come to speak. "843 TV, where Bluffton comes to speak.
Where Spring Island comes to speak.
Where Hilton Head Island comes to speak.
Where Beaufort comes to speak.
"843 TV,
where communities come to speak.
Thank you for joining us for another wonderful episode of 843 TV. We have 2 exciting guests with us today. We have Sandra Chavez. She is one of the founding members of the Polaris Tech Charter School Planning Committee, as well as General Lloyd Newton, who is also a founding member. Now, this is an exciting thing. We have a brand new school in Jasper County, but I'm sure a lot of people out there may not be familiar with Polaris Tech, so tell us a little bit about the school itself.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Okay. When we started thinking about this school, we had a vision that we would provide an option for parents and students who found that the traditional school that wasn't working for them.
Well, I think a lot of parents feel that way. It's been kind of exciting to see a growth of the charter schools in this area. What makes Polaris Tech special?
What makes Polaris Tech a bit special is because it's not a traditional setting for a middle and a high school. This is a setting much more where you don't have someone standing up lecturing to the class, but the class really engaging in what we call project-based learning, as well as a blended learning. They will do much of this online training as well. And the teachers and the instructors will be much more coaching our folks than it would be standing up lecturing to them. So that's a very different setting than what would be in the traditional school setting.
Now, is it a special search process to find teachers since it does sound like it's a very different format? I mean, how do you go about finding teachers and instructors for that setting?
To some degree, we want to search and see can we find the right and the quality of instructors that we're looking for to fit this model. However, if they're not quite there yet, we certainly will have a training program that we can help to bring them to that point as well. And Sandra, you might want to expand on that.
We're working with a national resource right now, and we're working with them to develop the recruiting plan. We're going to have a reach out in kind of the southeast region, as well as we're going to be very, very interested in making sure that teachers locally know about the school and the opportunities that will be present there.
Great. Now, you mentioned sort of a national format. Have you looked to other formats or other schools for inspiration and planning?
We did. We spent probably about a year doing a lot of research. We looked at schools. There's a school, High Tech High in California and San Diego, Summit Schools, Carpe Diem Schools in Arizona, as well as a school here in South Carolina, Next High School. And what we found was the best practices that were working, that matched our interest in our model. And what we found is that the folks out there were really willing to share what they're doing, what works and what doesn't work for kids.
Well, I'm assuming that everybody wants education to be a successful venture, so I think that's great that you're able to find that guidance.
Yeah, and what I found when we went to visit Next, for instance, and it's here in Greenville, South Carolina, I was just amazed at where the students were and how they can just stand up and just chat with you on a level where you are. And I thought that was very, very informative. And immediately I said, yep, I think we're on the right road here.
Well, absolutely. I've had the honor of talking to some of the other charter schools in this area, and I am amazed by the maturity level of the students and the openness of the students and their communication skills. And I'm sure that's something you're looking to achieve yourselves. Now, why middle school and high school? Why start there? Because a lot of times it's done the other way around.
Well, research suggests that at that 6th grade level, kids start to make a decision about whether or not they're going to, where school is worth it or not. And we felt that we had a real opportunity in the middle school to expose students to career pathways, career ideas, and engage them differently so that they would make the decision to stay in school and to plan for college, and also we would provide them with the opportunities to experience different career exposures.
So the name, Polaris Tech, how did that come about? And I'm hoping there's a story. I can tell by the laugh, so I'd love to hear it.
There is a story. And I will tell you, it was inspired by General Newton's participation with the school. We thought about the school being the North Star and what that means, and it's the only fixed point in the sky, and it has really kind of supported navigators and explorers across the sea and the sky forever. And we want the school to be the kids' North Star. And Polaris
I just got goosebumps. That's wonderful.
Is another word for the North Star.
That's great.
So immediately when this came up, I said, if you talk in flight, if you talk in space and beyond, I'm in.
So, and then the tech element, some people might think more technology-based, but you're looking at more avocation-based, correct?
Actually, we're looking at careers that are threaded with technology, so aerospace, advanced manufacturing, information technology, and career pathways such as that.
Now, briefly share with us, how did you two get involved as founding members of the Planning Committee?
It really started off with Sandra and a whole host of other folks that are on the committee, and I came in later on. But Sandra and I had met earlier at a United Way function where we were working with early education, reading, and those kinds of things. And so once this program really, and the discussion really got started, she called me and asked me would I be interested in, when she said aviation, and then asked me would I be interested. Yeah, immediately I said, is this a trick question? Of course I'm interested. But probably more important than that is I found that each one of the members of this board and this committee, this founding committee, are folks that are dedicated to the success of the students. That's the only objective they really have here, is how do we make this successful? And with that, and the objective for the program overall, I certainly was in.
Well, it's wonderful that you found this group of like-minded people. We will be right back with more wonderful information about Polaris Tech here on 843 TV.